Well, hello out there, everyone. It's me again. This is just to see where we are. This is going to be page 17 of part 3. I think in previous videos I've been talking about the mouse going out, and I guess I opened it up. I think there's like a loose, one of the wires going into one of the connectors is loose, so I think the mouse has pretty much had it. So right now I'm using the touchpad. Um, Downside, like the touchpad isn't too bad to work with, but I don't quite get the fine control that I do with the mouse. So you kind of see it when we go into GIMP and, I'm trying to position things down to the pixel, so to speak. But here we are in the pool room from Friends Forever. Our unlikely duo has made it back to East Springfield. And when they sneak inside the pool, all these kids that Chase said were kidnapped and being held prisoner are nowhere to be seen. And Chase is freaking out. Um, and let me see. The challenge I've got with this set is that a lot of the outdoor foliage ends up crossing over into the inside. So I gotta turn off the foliage whenever I'm dealing with an inside scene. But I'm thinking I kind of want to show, like, sort of want the windows at the top of this scene just to kind of break the monotony of these walls. But turning on the foliage means I get all the stuff inside. Okay, so if I just turn these off, I still get the trees and the sky and all that. And I think what we'll do is, let's see. Okay. We'll do this in layers and blur the trees outside. So this is going to be 1232A. And I will render that. Um, let's take this bubble while we're waiting on that. Um, Pictures in this scene aren't taking as long to render as the pictures in the other scenes, so as long as I'm working here, I won't have to cut away just to eliminate the dead wait time. But I think in this scene, I think I'm going to go back to that abandoned street set probably about halfway through this page. So we'll still end up breaking while I load the scene. See, this one's moving along a little faster than in the previous pages. And then I think I'm going to take this bubble. Just because of the way this scene is staged, I'm going to break up the text. So that I've got half of it going over Chase's head and the other coming around beneath them. Maybe they're back in town right now. Okay. I think before I merge this down, I'm going to condense this. Yep, there we go. So the text is a little more square than it was. That means this can come in. Yeah, see, this is where I don't have the fine control. I'm trying to get it to go up that 1 pixel. And the touchpad is a little difficult to... There we go. That's what we want. Merge down. And do I have you yet? Yes. Okay, save. And actually, I went turning off elements from the foliage scene, and I didn't have to because I'm turning everything, turning all these layers off. I don't need to put doors off anyway. And furniture doesn't need to go off. There's the structure. Move these two into the close folder. And the sky has to come back on. And as you can probably see, because I never really expected to do any shots out here, the ground isn't level with each other. It's kind of positioned to give me sort of the distant view I need, so that like the ground covers where I need it to, the trees are up or down where I need them to. The idea is it was never intended to be shot so that you see that the different planes of the groups are way off from each other, which is why they look way off from each other. That fits in the realm. That's in the realm of, um, when you stage something, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to look the way you need it to, and that's what this is. I didn't need everything to be on the level, so it's not. Let me render that. And while we're waiting for that piece, we'll come over here and finish this. And I will wait to work on this one until I have the picture and I know the kind of space I have to work with. There we go. Merge down. And there we go. Okay. Not yet, but I can go ahead and let's get this open. File open. This is A. You know what I can do? This is not bold, so let's put this in bold. And are you in bold? Yes. See, because where this structure is just all blank wall, it doesn't make for a very interesting background, especially when it just keeps getting used. So when I can, I'll try and position the camera to capture something interesting. And what makes it even worse is that sort of in universe, Blue Star Labs was supposed to have cleaned out anything of value to them at the end of Friends Forever. And since our mysterious ladies were supposed to be sort of keeping people chained on tables in here, they would need all the available space anyway. So they can't have so like this couldn't be filled with a lot of junk, or they wouldn't have room for all the kids chained on tables. And as I put that into words for you guys, I just wanted to say that I never intended that to be any kind of social message. Yeah. I try to steer clear of sort of some of the more contentious politics because I know people are divided and people have strong feelings. And while there are occasionally like low key messages, like in Tyler's story, where I kind of put in the thing about, don't blame poor people for the crime problem, and sort of, I do sort of get into a little politicking about, not maybe not politicking, but a little bit of a social message on, that, on don't blame poor people because of the crime, blame the crime on the poverty, that sort of thing. I don't know. I don't really want to get into the that sort of thing. It's like, more of a social commentary on poverty rather than, but that's the thing. It's kind of like it's sort of like a social message, a little more apolitical than, but so I'm not. So as I'm sitting here, I'm not really trying to make comments about kids in cages, but I guess that's how it might come across. Oh my god! And it's these trees. These trees are what's taking forever. I think it's the trees. Maybe it's the sky. Um, I think too some of the other social messages is, I kind of like slip in. Oh no, it's moving now. It's got to be I don't know. Maybe it could be either one, the sky or the trees, because once it's moved past, it's moving now. There we go. other parts of social commentary is, you might notice the sort of this little subtle messages about, like, peace, tranquility, let's all get along kind of thing, rather than like the divisive vitriol that we seem to be involved in our politics these days. Um, we need to open his layers. And I never really intend to get into like the political fray, but laugh at her as much as you want. But like, I really do like Marianne Williamson's like peace, love, and understanding message from like that very first debate. Where everybody sits and complains that she comes across as a weird crystal lady or whatever. But that's kind of what we need in our society right now, is just people to like love each other and get along. Um, and what am I doing? Filter. Okay. I push peace, love, and understanding here. And, you know, oh my God. Okay. So that's what we want to do. Open as layers. Uh, now that I went into that territory I never hoped to go into, now I just can't think about what I'm doing. Oh boy. Okay, so if we bring this down here, oh yeah, I got lots of room for this word bubble up here. Um, and I think at the same time, what I've been doing, getting back to the work, not the politics. One thing I've been doing here is sort of showcasing some of this empty space. To sort of like give the idea of how empty everything is. Oh, come on, how far out do I have to pull this to get that? There we go. You sort of you do these. You sort of make the panels bigger than they otherwise would be, and showcase like the empty space in this pool, just to showcase that everything is empty, that they're there and there's no people, there's nothing. What happened? There we go. Okay, there we go. Like that wasn't moving there for a minute. And it's lined up, so let's merge that down. And then put it here. Oh yeah, see? Lots of room. Probably could have fit the whole thing up there, but here we go. And it went up. And okay. Kind of not quite. Kind of wish this was over just a little bit more. I think there. You know what? I do want this over a little bit more. Hold on. That one. Cut. Select none. Edit. Paste as new layer. I'm going to have to zoom in to get this. I think. And let's see. Okay, and that's a little more what I want. Now we got to fill in this hole. That one we will Control C and then paste as layer. Will give me a little chunk of this word bubble to work with. And then we just bring it over here and do that. And the word bubble is whole again. And then we'll merge these three together. Merge down. And let's zoom out. Oh, that was a lot of work for that one panel. They're probably not dead. Maybe she moved them, or maybe she let them go. Maybe they're back in town right now. Let's see. Oh, let's put the foliage off since I don't need it anymore. I'm gonna take them out of unparent, not delete. And I need the book. We're gonna bring not the structure. And then we need one panel with a reaction shot. With a hopeful hopeful reaction shot on Chase. Oh, I've got the head neutraled out, but he looks like he's smiling. Okay. And I don't use this one all that much. Let's have a slight pucker. Actually, can we use? I'm gonna get rid of the narrow. That's better. And we will go 33. So I'll figure that out in a moment. It's like one of those, it's never going to look right either way. At least we should tell the share. Mm, this is probably a line I don't need. So let's actually try to find out. Yeah, you know what? I don't need that line. Okay, that works. Condense that a little. Make that bold. And then we will. And merge that down. Bring it over here. Uh, I have depth of field on with this camera, don't I? I think in a previous video I was talking about how depth of field I can never seem to get work right. Depth of field is on, so let's turn it off and render it again. For some reason, I got it to sometimes do exactly what I need it to do in the last couple of pages, so I've been using it. Sometimes I can't get the depth. I sometimes can't get the focal point to set up properly, but in the last couple of pages I've been using it, and I thought it was off inside the building. So we will turn that on. And while we're waiting for that, let's do this. layer to image size, fuzzy select that. Go edit, paste as. Let's see, select. Yeah, funny enough, it gets to be like this when I'm talking with my brother. It's like we end up like talking we end up like calling each other every week, and you sort of think, and it's like all week you sort of sit and think of topics that are interesting to talk about, and then when it's like you're actually connecting on the phone, all of a sudden, like you just forget all the topics, and you're sitting there in the same kind of like quiet silence. like, um, yeah, this is a phone call, and that's what this feels like. Like I was kind of filming because my mind was a little on the active side, so I thought this would be a little more interesting. And then all of a sudden, I start the video rolling, and let's save as while we're waiting. And this is page 17. And I think I've mentioned previous times before I've wanted to do a series. It sort of follows me modeling some projects, just to hopefully inspire some of you viewers to, to that I get to. I don't know what I'm saying right now, but or how it's how I want to say it, but it's like, kind of inspire you to do some modeling yourself, maybe. There we. Oh, I didn't want to do image size. Not so much like a how-to series, but you can do it series. Scale is what I want to do. 34. And and it's like, I've only done a couple of videos, and it's a weird, and it's like, if you consider, and it's like considering it as a series, it's a very weird series. Because I think I put together one sort of, I think the first is sort of like a basic get started, things you need to know before you get started kind of video. And then I did got one showcasing some very simple furniture. I basically model, I basically like throw together a model of a, let me see what it was, coffee table, end table, and shelf in like, in basically all of an hour. Show you how easy some of the basic, simple pieces are. And then, like, the next one is I go and model that big window for the set that I think I showed you in a previous video for the story I wanted to do called Teddy Bear, which I guess it's still a very basic piece to do, but it was, but it was like a lot more complicated from going from like table with with basically 5 cubes to a multi-piece window with all kinds of trim. Um, oh my god. And I think I get talking on that, and I think this is where we break and go to. This is where the action moves back to the abandoned road, back to the truck. So I'm going to save this, cut out here, and this will pick up once I've got the other set loaded. Okay, so we've got this abandoned street. I went ahead and loaded Mr. Garvey into the scene because it's going none. Like another twist, they get back to the truck and find they've been caught by Blue Star. uh, Sort of one of the ideas with this story is because it's not a heavy action piece like the previous three were. I sort of want I want the kids to stumble on sort of some of the clues and answers that I've been holding off on. Just kind of trying in my head to figure out exactly how they're going to find out who the mysterious woman is. I know it's not on this. It's one of the previous pages. It's not in here. So if you're watching this video and you haven't actually read the piece, um, it's probably 2 pages back where they come on the pool and the mysterious woman is chatting with somebody, with another woman, and all you do is see her from behind. Um, there we go. And it's like also in this one. I sort of do want to bring it back to the mystery of what happened to Kendall. It's everyone's been kidnapped, and at this point, everyone's been released except Kendall, who's still with our mysterious women. Come on, there we go. I'm not quite sure if it comes across that way at the end of the first story, Corey's story. But I've been trying to play it that she was somehow forced into betraying them. And I think that's how it came across because she was still used as a pawn. They were still threatening her when they got away. So I think the idea I've been trying to play up with her is that that somehow they've threatened her and that she drugged Corey and Francis before they got away. So it's kind of in this piece. I sort of want to address it here in this piece as to what's actually, what is going on with her. Finally, like, get past all, get put aside all the suggestions, all the hints, and just come out and like finally reveal what's going on, and sort of I guess end that story of like the we've got to get her backstory. Kind of put an end to that. No, that that oh, that was I go to grab Chase's head, and the come on, was sort of me voicing like his reaction to coming across this. It just like popped out of nowhere. It's not on anything on my end. It's the these two got caught. It just came out. Uh, um, let's see. What I'm trying to do here is get their expressions without leaving this camera angle. And that means I don't get as close a look to their face as I need to. So I'm sort of guessing here. That looks a little better. And I think is that it? Okay, now I know I've got some elements invisible here, so let me see if I can remember. That's it, okay. Basically just got this wall thing to make it look like there's green behind them. Now, I think with this set, I've been doing it in layers and blurring that plane. Because I'm not sure. There's the near plane. And there's the far. I'm not sure this will give me what I want. Let's put the far plane on. And then mess with the f-stop. too much. I want that far plane somewhere about there. And then let's see if the near plane is... Okay, I'm going to test this and see if this works. 34. While I'm messing with that, let's go in here. Oh, excuse me. Hello, kids. None. But yeah, on the come on, go up there. On the modeling series that I was talking about before cutting away, something's just been like keeping me from actually putting that up there. I think none. I think one hang up is just that it's something that there should probably be more videos. It should be more of a series before it goes live. And since I'm not actually in a modeling mode right now, I just haven't gone anywhere with that series. So it just seems weird, like, hey, you can do it. Here's one example. Sorry, guys, I'm not really showing you how easy it is to do some of the more complicated stuff yet. uh, and I think another part of it, too, is sort of the second modeling video. Like I said, I did just a quick mock-up of some simple furniture. And then when I was working on that apartment set for Teddy Bear, I decided to just randomly film, not videotape. You can kind of date me from that, from that colloquialism, but I decided to record the making of one of the windows. And that by itself just felt kind of weird because it's like, okay, guys, I'm here with another video, with another in the series. um, I've got half this apartment done, which I didn't bother to show you. But here's a window we're going to make, you know? It's like Julia Child showing you how to bake a pie when she's already got the crust made up. Now we take this crust, which I'm not going to show you, how to make, but here it is. Go make it yourself. Figure it out yourself. It just feels funny and weird. Um, okay, I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to look at this picture and figure out how to place word bubbles because I sort of want both of them to react. So since I've got to give you the reader's name in case you didn't read Friends Forever, um, Elliot is going to blurt out his name as sort of a surprise, like Mr. Garvey, and then I want Chase to give that uh-oh because it stuck in my head when I blurted it out. So now I've got to throw it in there. Whoops, he's not Mr. Garvey. I should call him Mr. Gravy. That's it, Mr. Gravy. Oh boy. What am I doing? I've got another topic running through my head, and it's like as always, sort of sit there and weigh whether or not to put it out there. But like if um, like for those of you who've already see, I'm kind of not even thinking right now. For those of you who already like have DAS Studios and played around with it and gone on in the marketplace, like if you ever go into the forums, it's kind of funny how there's how like the people kind of go at each other's throats over the idea of like just buying all your assets versus making some of them yourself. That like which it's a perfectly legitimate topic of conversation in their forums since Daz puts out a modeling program, but for some reason, like the people who don't model themselves have a certain snobbery where they like actually get upset when anybody suggests doing any sort of modeling yourself. And I'm not sure anybody's actually saying you should model instead of shopping on the forums. I think it's like, or at least my attitude is it should supplement. If you've got, if there's something simple you need, then by all means go ahead and model it instead of shelling out money. Because it's not like a lot of us are, very rich and have like tons of disposable cash to just like throw away on as however we wish. Okay, so yeah, the depth of focus works here. Even though that looks very bizarre, but oh well. Um, Again, while I do like the looks, I don't try to pass any of this off as photorealistic, so I can get away with some of this. But but I think there's sort of this disconnect too with some of the people on those forums because the idea is like if you're creating content. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Undo. It's 44, not 45. If you kind of creating content like I am here, then there's sort of this attitude that like, well, my time is more valuable creating the content than in like building these sets and things. It's not worth my time when I can just buy something I need. And it's like, I know I've chimed in a few times kind of pointing out that, like, if you're a content creator, um, and you're modeling some of these props yourself, you can turn around and sell them on 3D model sites as long as everything that's attached with it is yours. So it's not like you have to make this it's not like, I'm trying to think. Okay, I don't have anything in these pictures that I can point to, but um, I'm trying to think. Like some of the picture frames I've been using in the last number of projects I've made my own instead of using something somebody else made available. And so like instead of those picture frames being something um, that I just make for myself, and the only value is what you make from the project that they're used in. You turn around and sell them, and you're making money off the assets, not just the finished picture. It's the idea is like you can end up you supplement. You sit and create these objects, and then sort of supplement your income by making the individual objects that you're using in the scenes available as paid assets. And it's not something while I've done it with some of the simple projects, I haven't really considered turning some of these buildings into paid assets on some of the 3D model sites because, like I said, the text, I'm not making the textures myself. I'm sort of like acquiring them, so I can't exactly turn around and sell them with the textures. um, and two, let's see, with my use, I don't need these buildings to have sort of the level of detail that you'd find in real life. So, like in my eyes, some of these buildings look absolutely beautiful, at least to me. They do sort of lack something that like a broader audience might want out of them. So I haven't really put buildings up for sale yet, but like I said, I've put up like picture frames. Some of the furniture has made it up. I don't have a lot. I haven't actually put a lot of my assets out there, but it's not like I'm making. I haven't even made enough to get paid yet, but funny. But um, it's like every dollar supplements it, right? Yeah, and it's like assets that would otherwise sit on my hard drive. If I make 50 cents a month, that's 50 cents more than you know than I otherwise would have. I think that's, yeah. I know, I'm just kind of joking, but um, let's get back to the story. I need this plane off so I can see what I'm doing. No, not on. I need this one off. Let's change. Oh, what the heck? Okay, there we go. What am I looking for here? But if you're into if you're into doing this kind of working with doing this kind of work, like if you've gone ahead and if you've already been working with Daz Studios, um, and you're like me trying to do it on a budget, working with whatever free content you can find. Sort of give a shout out here. His suit. Uh, the suit I'm using with Mr. Garvey um, is from someone going by the name of Wilmap, Wilmap, um, who puts out some okay clothing content. I don't know how much work you'd have to do to make this sort of photorealistic if that's the way you were going to, but you can play around with textures and whatever, and I've been able to make it. I've been satisfied with some of the clothing. So this suit came from Wilmap. Um, I think it's a couple of the costumes from Transforming Tyler were, I want to say her. I think Wilmap is a woman, and I forgot what picture this is. 35. Okay, so I didn't change this yet. Hmm. I mean, she's putting out free stuff, so like the quality isn't going to be. It's not going to be the highest quality content, but it's going to be decent for free. For free, it's pretty good. If you're looking for something different than the standard outfits that everybody else is using from Daz Studios or from the Daz store, um, no. Okay, I'm going off on this, and and it's again, once again, not even paying attention here. But if you're looking for something a little different than the free standard content, which even I'm using, you sort of look at their outfits. I think it's Elliot's wearing like the basic white T-shirt from the Genesis. I basically just recolor it, sometimes retexture it, whatever. But Wilmat's got some decent outfits. Um, I didn't expect to see you back here, Elliot. And if you're in the other camp, you're on the other camp, and um, you don't mind spending a little bit of money on the content. Whoops, I ended up grabbing that by accident. It seems like the Daz store has just been running some extremely deep discounts in the last few months. I don't know if it's like a broader trend where it's like everybody's expecting discounts, so they've just got to keep offering deeper and deeper discounts to get the business, or if there's something big coming and it's some kind of a push on older content before they end up releasing whatever big is coming out. Um, like it's again in the forums, I think there's a lot of speculation that the Genesis 9 figure is going to drop soon. I don't know what's really fueling that speculation, other than the fact that they seem to be shoving out a lot of Genesis 8 uh, content lately. But it's like the flip side is they are sort of blowing out older. So if like you're stuck with Genesis 1, like I just seem to love working with the Genesis 1 character. So it's on a rare occasion you'll see a Genesis 2 character pop into the work, and I pretty much never use Genesis 3 or 8. Oh, we've got depth of field, and I don't need depth of field here. So let's cancel this render and start over. Oh, and I was so into that too. So it's like because they've been offering deep discounts, you can find sales where you can get a lot of content for next to nothing. And I do have to admit, lately that's I've been like picking up a lot of content in the last 3 or 4 months, and like probably spending more than I really should be. And what am I doing? I need the camera. Where is depth of field? Off. And we're going to start this again. I'm just going to close this because this always annoys me. Oh, what am I doing? So I've been picking up just kind of curiosity out of curious as to what um, I've been picking up like a few more character textures so that I can finally give you guys a little more variety in the characters that I use, so it doesn't look like everybody comes from the same gene pool. um, I think I've been like picking up a few props that fill holes. So like this truck, for instance, there have been like a couple of trucks, for instance, that seem to have need for. What am I doing? Select invert. I've been grabbing a few sets, so a couple of like the bar scenes. Um, I've been picking up to kit bash them, and for some of the props as well. Um, oh, I got you off. That's and and I've been picking up a few things, kind of looking ahead. So I think in like the last month or so, I don't really know how this is going to work, how this is going to end up, but I think in the last couple of months, uh, select shrink, invert, and edit. Cut. I think I decided to add. I think I think it's called Millennium Baby to the collection, and I've picked up a few um, baby collections with the idea that I want to do a story around a family with a newborn. And I'm not quite sure. It's like I don't have anything in mind, so don't get excited for the project yet. I don't quite know how it's going to work, that sort of thing. But I've sort of been. It's sort of like it's kind of been having the idea that it would be nice to do sort of a younger family, a story around a younger family, and so I kind of took the opportunity to scoop up some stuff to introduce a baby character. And it's again, I'm not sure. I don't have anything specific in mind, so it's like some of the brainstorming ideas is to fit it into the Shrimp of the House universe, and then what do I do? Where do I go from there? It's what do I do with it there? It's like, do I have Liz get pregnant and have a baby so that they end up with 5 kids? Like this, this family's already like on the large size. Do they have like another kid? when they've already got their oldest on the verge of going off to college, or the other possibility is that like we find out um, that his brother David and Eva had another baby, which I think would be the preferable possibility, because then the idea is like, they've been off the canvas time wise, they've been off the canvas long enough where like conceivably she could have been pregnant and there's like no reason she couldn't just show up with a baby in the next story. Because she's been off the canvas long enough. And at the same time, like, if, if like in future stories you don't want to have to deal with the baby all the time, because they're not in the main story, like it could just disappear in the next story. I think too the problem, I think looking at, let's save. I guess too, if I put it in the Shrimp of the House universe, the other problem is that as far as the house set, I don't think David and Liz really have the space for a baby. Because it would mean this is gonna. Why is this dragging? Oh my god! But it would mean it would mean either like Alex gets gets stuck permanently with his other two brothers. They get like the three of them get cramped into a room together so that they can use his room for a baby room, or they've got to add another room to the house, something like that. Whereas I think with not David, Danny's house has the guest room upstairs, so they've got room to expand the family. Hmm. Since this is taking forever, I'm gonna trip. See, this is what I mean. It's like I come to this road scene and it's gonna take forever where the pool scene didn't. But I'm gonna cut it here and come back whenever this finally finishes, and I'll finish the I'll finish the talk then. Okay, so that took a long time. I think I wasn't happy with the product, so I ended up rendering it and re-rendering it. After it taking forever, I finally got a version that I'm happy with. So we will scale that to 34. Um, what just happened? Uh, oh, that's what I did. Oh my god. Okay, scale layer. Park you there. Hmm. Yeah, you know what? We'll split this in the middle of the page. And it's going to come over. Kind of want him centered. Although it ends up being the balance, the way you end up sort of aiming the camera at an angle to these people. a lot of times you can't exactly have the character and their head centered. So sometimes you got to decide which one you want, whether you want the head centered with the shoulders off centered, or do you want the shoulders centered with the head off centered. So I think we'll go with this. Select none. And I think we're going to gloss over this, because I really don't need to tie up space and tie up words. Um, okay. Oh, I know what's going on. I'm trying to hit Control D to bring him to the ground. But because he's in the group, it puts the whole group to the ground, which the lowest point of the group to the ground, which is already at ground level, i.e. the truck. So I got to get him out of the group, so I can do that. But anyway, it's like to his question. Ideally, this would be where he explains the whole thing about Chase's story about all the kids being kidnapped, but we don't really need to rehash that, so we're going to kind of hand wave that and then come into the next page where he's like, that is very interesting indeed. That kind of thing. Okay. Then we hit Control D to bring him to the ground. I think it's as I was kind of saying before, that annoying break. Um, it's sort of like that hospital room was a set I picked up over there. Actually, I think I grabbed it when you get like one of those random like get X dollars off amount of a Daz original product. So I ended up getting the hospital. So I chose the hospital room for free. Kind of thinking about using it specifically for this story. I wasn't sure if I was going to use it or not, but I ended up, as you've already seen, I did end up using it. That was like one of those cases where I threw in the scene, but it wasn't really that big enough to kind of create the set myself. So, since I got the set for free, whoops. Although it did take quite a bit of modification. I want currently used. And I might have mentioned it before, but I think I've been picking up stuff that I think might be useful when I get around to the story called Burn Pit that I keep talking about. probably just a few military themed things. The idea is if the main character is a former serviceman, I think it might be interesting to just do like a couple of flashback scenes instead of just having the entire past talked about while you see characters sitting across from each other in chairs. It might be interesting to just like actually show a couple of flashback scenes to accentuate the story. At least that's the plan. Um, what is? Oh, it's this glare. I think I'm gonna have them looking at each other instead of. Oops, what just happened? Let's collapse everything for the heck of it. And I think I'm going to put the depth of field or whatever it is, depth of field back on. And where is the far plane? That didn't come on. There we go. Far plane isn't all that far back, is it? Maybe we're going to increase the. Hmm. Oh well. We'll call that 6 and render that. And now let's get a dialog box so we can kind of hand wave the explanation. But I do end up enjoying actually constructing the houses and the warehouses and the buildings. It is kind of, there is something kind of fun about. Oops. I have him name drop again, and I think I want to split it here. This might be. Especially with like the sets that um, get extensive use through the project. Like the various apartments and houses and that warehouse that he keeps neighborhood watching in front of. I promise eventually we'll get inside that building. Oops. And I expect it to make it a bigger deal than it's been so far. Just because I've put the effort into it. Select none. There we go. Edit Stairs. Okay, I knew that was a little off. Come on, get over there. Here's where I hate the touchpad is because I can't. Which one? Oh, it's that one. Okay, merge down. Okay, so now let's put the border around this one. Layer to image size. And edit, cut, edit, paste as new layer. And we go select, invert, select, shrink. Okay. Invert, cut. Oh my god, this one's going to take forever too, isn't it? But, I think I'm going to do the same thing. I think thinking long term, I'm going to do the same thing after this story gets done and goes up. I think I'll take another 1 or 2 week break and throw together that story, that one issue story, Teddy Bear, that I keep talking about. Oh, but I think one thing that might be interesting and um, keep checking in over on Patreon is that I'm not exactly I'm not exactly sure what the exact transformation is going to be. I'm leaning it's like I'm leaning in two different directions, and I think what I might do is mock up some images with each one and put it up as a poll and let you, the fans, decide which way the transformation goes. I don't want to say how far it goes, but I think which way it goes. Which probably means I should do that when this part is finished and before starting the next one. Sort of get it up between the third and fourth part of this story so that the poll is up long enough to get input before I actually start on the project. Because, like I said, I've got two different directions to go with how the character is transformed, and I'm sort of like equally, and it's one of those things where I'm equally pushing in either direction on my end. Sometimes one is stronger than the other, but I can't really sell myself on either one. Uh, but anyway, oh my god, I think this is going to take another 10 or 15 minutes So I think you get the idea of how this piece is going to finish off. They're here in the pool. He's like, they're probably not dead. Maybe she moved them, or maybe she let them go. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're back in town right now. You think so? Then let's go back to the truck and find out. And then they get back to the truck, and there's Blue Star's lawyer waiting for them. Hello, kids. Mr. Garvey. Uh-oh. I didn't expect to see you back here, Elliot. Not so soon, at least. I can explain that, Mr. Garvey. So I'm going to chuck out. I think that's all you really need to see on this one. I don't think we need to come back just to see me paste one extra picture into this. But, that's page 17. The story is getting there. I swear. And I'll see you next time, guys.